Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to iconic Duxford. This isn't just any Duxford, of course, it's Chico Mix Duxford. I'll put a link down below if you haven't already got it. It's free and it's a great place to fly warbirds from, as a lot of people do. So we're here for a special reason today. Very excited to see that FlyingIron Simulations have launched their BF-109. And of course, I rushed out and bought it because I've not really flown this type at all, really, in any simulator, apart from messing about a couple of times in IL2. So I'm excited because it's something new for me to get my teeth into, and also very excited to see what FlyingIron have done, because so far their warbirds in Microsoft Flight Simulator have been absolutely fantastic. So this is bound to be good. That's a spoiler alert. Anyway, so in a nutshell, what have we got? Really high quality by the looks of it. There are 10 liveries. There's an immersive WY soundscape sound pack, 4 different engine captures, 3 external, 1 cockpit. And as we've seen recently with the Spitfire, hoping to see some really nice flyby sounds there as well. It's got an authentic flight model. They've really gone to town on getting it tested by experts in terms of flight dynamics, engineering. They've spoken to 109 pilots. They've tried to recreate the multiple systems on the 109. It is quite complicated, as I'm sure we're about to find out. That's including modelling of the fuel and hydraulic systems, emergency systems. The engine has been quite intricately modelled, uses custom thermodynamics and engine physics that they've developed over several years, and they've refined it in the BF-109 according to their blurb. All temperature, pressure and viscosity are among the many features accurately simulated, so that's good to see. Electric modelling has been built into it as well, so we have to be a little bit careful with that. Electrical failures and circuit breakers are there and can go pop. Ground handling physics, they're really good with their ground handling physics compared to some Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft out there. I really like what FlyingIron Simulations have done, which they started really with the Hellcat and then moved over to the Spit as well. Really nice job there. UV cockpit lighting is even included as well. And vibrations, fuel line bubbles. It's going to be really interesting to see what this is like. As I say, I'm a rookie, so you're seeing what really is my first flight. Hopefully it's going to be in one take, hopefully no crashes, but you're going to see exactly what it's like to try and take this up for the first time. And I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, let's get in the cockpit and get going. Right, okay, so here we are in the cockpit, and what a magnificent cockpit it is too. And I don't know how good your German is, but it's actually quite daunting in a funny sort of way, having never flown anything like this really. I mean, like I said, I dabbled in IL2, but that was just literally doing auto start and not even looking at the instrument panel, more just kind of trying to shoot things down. But this is so incredibly marvelously complicated that all we can hope to do on this flight is just get a quick appreciation of how it flies, how it feels, and all that kind of good stuff, and then learn over subsequent flights all the intricate details, because this really is quite something. Anyway, let me get the tablet up. 2 ways of getting the tablet up. You can either click that bolt there, or you can pick up the tablet from there. So we're going to do it that way. Very simply, first tab, if you like, is checklists. Don't need to explain that to you. They're checklists. You can either use these here, or you can go up into the normal MSFS menu, or you can use a PDF checklist on another device, which is the way I'm going to do it, because I'm a boring old fart and I don't really like using tablets and the checklist from the menu. Grumble, grumble. Anyway, that's just me being weird. Then we've got handy V speeds. If you want to refer to those, it's great, especially when you're getting to know an aircraft for the first time, to have those readily available. And handily, it gives it in kph, which is what we've got in this aeroplane, and gives a reference in knots as well, if you're more used to flying in knots as I am. Live data, this is quite useful. This is telling you where you are in terms of lots of different parameters. For example, our battery charge is 99.5, battery volts 25.4. Battery is not connected yet. I'm just double checking. No, it's not, so that's good. Just something interesting to point out here, priming. It says it's primed. Now, I don't know if this is just a weird little quirk, because I was playing around with this earlier, getting to know some of the controls, but my aeroplane is starting primed, and I have been having a bit of a session just before trying to get it started, because I'll be completely honest with you, this is the second time I've tried to start this video, and the reason this is the second time is because I could not get this aeroplane to start before, because I was going off of that where it said it was primed, and in that configuration, if I didn't prime it anymore, then the aeroplane wouldn't start. Now I thought I might have broken it, because when I started it, or when I was playing with it earlier, I primed it, and then when I looked up it said primed. I don't know what state it was in before, so it could have started off at primed. But I think what is happening here is that because here at Duxford it's a very hot day today, the tablet logic is thinking, well, it doesn't need any more prime because it's a hot day, so the engine is therefore primed. But some other logic is saying, hang on, you need to prime me, because actually the way to start this, and we'll see on a day like today in my sim, I'm not saying this is the same for everybody, but after doing some experimentation, this is how it's working for me today. On a hot day like today, I am having to prime it to the point where it's over primed, and then it will start. You'll see. So the weather today is 23.5 outside at the moment. Certainly doesn't feel like it. It feels a damn sight hotter than that, I'll tell you, especially in this little room that I'm in now, with all the windows and doors closed so that no one can hear me prattling on. No, I'm not in a room, I'm in a cockpit. What am I talking about? Realism, authenticity, immersion. Right, anyway, okay, so that's what that's all about, and I just thought I'd mention that in case you saw it as well. You probably won't. I think it probably depends on the weather that you've got, but that's what I'm seeing today, and that's what anyway, enough of that. Stats, graphs, all sorts of things there that you can have a look at just to monitor it. This is kind of standard fare really for the Flying Iron aircraft, and it's quite handy to have that. Loadout, we've got a short range loadout because we're only going to be flying around Duxford, but we can change that if we want. If we start adding medium and long range, we'll get drop tanks and all that good stuff. Autopilot is there, the work of the devil if you need it. Workshop, I joke, that's actually quite handy if you're doing a long flight and you want to go and make a cup of tea or something, as all fighter pilots do, then you've got that there. Workshop is what it says on the tin. It's to repair stuff as stuff wears down, and also you can do your engine overhaul and your 25-hour inspection. Settings, again, what it says on the tin. Stresses and failures, we've got those on because I'm a big boy. We can replace the GPS with a gun sight. So let's have the GPS. A lot of modern restoration aircraft, which is certainly how I fly my warbirds in the sim, would have a GPS, so that's not a problem having that. And if I was doing cross country or anything like that, I might well have that on, for example. Today we'll just have the gun sight. We can replace the original with the, I think that says Erla canopy. Whoa, head tracking went a bit crazy there, sorry about that. So what that means is, you see here we've got this extra piece of metal coming down here. If I do that, then we get a much clearer window, much better visibility, but I'm just going to stick with the old school one. Hide the pilot, that's why originally when you saw the outside of the aeroplane when I did the videos, you could see that there was when I did those outside clips, there was no pilot. I was using that little thing there. Hide control column, very simply gets rid of that if you want to be able to see the gubbins down here without it. I'm not too worried about it. Hide spinning prop, not sure what that is. I suspect when we're flying, if you didn't want to have the animation of the spinning prop, you could do that. Maybe it causes problems for some people, or maybe it's to do with performance, I don't know, but we'll have a look at that when we're in the air. Install tropical filter. Not working. Interesting. That was working before. Not sure why. Okay. So that's working there. What that should also be doing is it should be giving us an umbrella, and I'll put up a little video now that will show you what that is about. When I tried to do this video before and I was having the engine starting experimentation, the umbrella did actually pop up as well. For some reason it's not popping up now. Just have a look outside just to see if it comes in. No, it's not. So there's something a bit funny going on there, but I will leave that as it is. We don't need the tropical filter because we're not going in the desert, so I'm going to switch that off. Simplified ground handling, we're not going to worry about that, but if you didn't have rudder pedals and that sort of thing, then you can switch that on and it will just make it a bit easier for you. Install weapons, we've got those. Adds a bit of extra weight, but if you want to, you can have the weapons off. We've got them installed. And we've got install radio and transponder. If I turn that off, you'll see that disappears from there. That just adds some slightly modern avionics. We're not going to be using the radio today or anything like that, but it's there if we want it. And then over here we've got something which is really useful, which is replace German with English. If I do that, you can see the language changes, which certainly when you're new to the aeroplane will just give you a chance of understanding what everything is about. So we'll turn that off for the time being, but we might have another look at that later. Stresses and failures, we've talked about. Tablet preferences, brightness, pushback if we want to do that. Battery connection if it's to connect that. The battery is connected or turned on using that switch there. But we can't turn it off from inside the aircraft. That has to be done by the ground crew. So that's where we'd be using that switch there. Okay, so that really kind of sums what all that is. Just going to quickly try that install tropical filter because I am surprised that the old umbrella didn't pop in, and I can't think of a reason why. So anyway, we will go past that. One thing I will say about Flying Iron is that they are really good at patching things. That might not necessarily be a fault with the sim. Could be something weird going on with my sim that's causing that. But anyway, they are really good and they patch very quickly if they spot anything. So yeah, they are good like that. Okay, let's get rid of the tablet and let's fire this thing up. So, checks before engine start, we close the canopy, gear ensure it is down, throttle open 1 inch, propeller control is set to auto, which it is. Where was I looking? I got distracted then by something else. Radiator control is open, so we turn that, come back over there. Battery is on, flickety flick. This runs out really quickly, so we don't want to mess around with that. Generator circuit breaker is that one, and we have that on, and then we have the two starting A21 and A22. We need those. And the propeller A12. Need that circuit breaker in. In this aircraft, we don't have circuit breakers and buttons. They're both the same thing, which is quite interesting. Right, that's before engine start checks done. Engine start, the engine stop, which is this lever, is off, which it is. Prime. Now, this is what I mean. On the tablet, if I quickly bring that up again, you will see that it says it's primed. And this was the problem I was having before. I was thinking, well, it should be all right. So let's now give it 5 squirts. Let's pretend it's underprimed. And I'm going to give it 5 squirts. Okay, so that's 5 squirts. Fuel pump circuit breaker in. That uses a fair amount of electricity, so we leave that till a bit later. Fuel valves both on. That's it. So we get those both on, double check that. And we want both mags on. Okay, inertia for 20 seconds, and then we pull the starter strongly. There we go, and we have a start. Okay, after engine start, circuit breakers all in. Okay, that's all good. Oil pressure 6 to 8 for a cold engine. So that looks okay. Fuel pressure 1.2 at 1000 RPM, so let's bring that, that's down at 1000 RPM. And sorry, what did it say? Oil pressure 1.2. So yeah, I think that's okay. Right, so we want to warm up at 1000 RPM, so I'm just moving the throttle down there. Fuel valves test individually. So let's go back to 1, and we're still running. Everything's good. Okay. Radiator control test all modes. So we have automatic, and then we have off. What does it say after that? Yep, so we need to put that back to open. Altimeter set, so I'm going to set it to... Just having a quick look at our temperatures, because we are getting a little bit hot sitting on the ground like this. Right, we've done that. Test magnetos at 20 degree oil rise, 2,300. With 70 RPM drop, so let's just check. Our oil is definitely okay, so we don't need to worry about that. Right, okay, let's check mags. They're good. Okay, everything's good there. Okay, so brief throttle run at test 2,500 to 2,600 RPM at 1.3 ATA. And the aircraft is spinning even though I've got the brakes on. Okay. Gonna stop that. Interesting. So brakes were on, but the aircraft was spinning. Then trying to do that check. Okay, let's just use that. Clear the plug fouling. Okay, and we'll bring the RPM back to 1000. Let's just close that again. I've had to restart it because something funny was going on. Okay, tail wheel loose, that's fine. Propeller lever. So propeller control set to manual. And then we've got to set the RPM, where is it? Propeller lever set pitch to 12 o'clock, which is this one here. Come back, there we go. That's about what you have to do is use your propeller lever to try and get it there, and it's not easy. There we go. Okay, we're on there now. Right, tail wheel is loose, brakes, let's release those, and why is the aircraft spinning? Okay, brakes are off. How very strange. Okay, so that's, yeah, brakes are working. Okay, so literally as soon as you start moving it starts turning to the left, as it is now. That must be the P factor, so we've got to take that into account. That's going to make taxiing interesting. Okay, right, flaps 20. There we go, so we'll just watch that. Our indicator for here is a line just down here. We need to now have +1 on the do that the other way. There we go, +1 on the stabilizer. Right, let's go and have a look at the airfield now. I think that the wind is blowing. Yeah, there it is. Just look at the windsock over there. Okay, so we need to head down this way. Right, so I've got some right pedal on. Not, yeah, just having to use a little bit of brake just to keep it straight. There we go. I'm going to get used to you, mate. You are very different. Oh, well, on the Spitfire we haven't got the canopy open. Don't stick your head through the glass, it hurts. So yeah, taxiing. Is just having to use a little bit of brake to steer. Do some S-turns so that we can see where we're going. Which is not the easiest thing to do in this. Going a little bit fast now, sunshine. Let's just bring it round. There we go. Now we can get a look. There we go. Keep using the brakes to steer. Motoring along. All the crowd there thinking, who the hell let this guy loose in this aeroplane? What on earth were they thinking? It's quite strange not being able to stick your head out of the cockpit, but it did say to close the canopy, so I'm just following orders. This is definitely a good way to learn by doing things wrong. I think my RPM was way too low there. I probably got some bad fouling from that. Okay, let's just slow everything down. Slow. Get control of the aeroplane. Getting waffling away there and picked up too much speed. Okay. So we're going to take the grass runway. I can already tell that this is going to be a tricky takeoff. Right, let's get control of the aeroplane. Right, so the wind is coming from that away, so we're pointing it to wind now. Right, run up checks. Canopy inshore closed, tail wheel inshore tight. There we go. Stabilizer inshore +1. It is because we did that before. Flaps inshore 20. They are. Propeller control inshore automatic, so we'll put that back into automatic now. Radiator control, we will put that into automatic. Good God, it was closed there for a moment. radiator controls automatic. Clear plug fouling is needed, so we'll give it a bit of that. There we go, that's it. Get some of that good stuff. There we go. Because I'm sure I needed to do that. Okay, run up check. Well, that's all we need to do for that. I guess we did a bit of run up check just before. So we are fine. Right, takeoff. Let's get into... come on. I will tame you. Let's just line up. There we go. Right, takeoff. So aileron, strong right deflection, rudder, strong right deflection. Throttle very slowly ease to 1.3, so that's going to be on here. Lift off at 170, so that's going to be looking at here. Propeller is going to be 2,300 RPM. We're going to raise the gear immediately after takeoff. Flaps we're going to retract above 200, so that's again going to be looking here. And propeller control is auto, which is where it is now. Right, here we go. Let's give it a try, eh? So full right rudder, full right aileron. May God save us. Engine's not sounding good, so we're going to stop that. Okay, let's give it some more of this. It sounds a bit smoother now, so let's give this a try, eh? Let's start again. So 1.3. Oh my God! Whoa! So we're airborne, gear up, flap up. That was interesting. You see straight away, that did catch me by surprise a little bit. The wing dips there, had to quickly correct that, and yeah, that was interesting. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the checklist because I want to make sure that I've not done anything silly. So we've done takeoff, we've raised the gear, that's everything is fine. Propeller is 2,300 RPM and we are there. We've retracted the flaps and everything is good. So let's just calm everything down now. I'm going to put the just the power, so we are 1.1 ATA and here we are. We're flying. Just going to trim it a little bit. Let's reset the track IR because that's gone a bit weird. I say track IR, it's grass monkey. There we go. Wow, interesting takeoff. Definitely going to have to watch that. I think the interesting thing is you are flying with, or you're taking off with full right rudder, full right aileron, and concentrating, sitting on a first takeoff, concentrating on a few different things, and suddenly it lifts off the ground beautifully and wallop. The wingtip goes the other way. some people might wonder why I've got a modern fighter pilot in there. Well, I fly as a modern restoration aeroplane, and they use a lot of the guys that do that wear bone domes and flying suits, so that's really why you are seeing that. Okay, so how is everything looking? Let's quickly check the temperatures. Yeah, that's looking okay. We've got the radiator set on automatic, so that's fine. We're not going to be breaking anything. It's very strange when you're used to jumping into an aeroplane, a new aeroplane, and just feeling things feel more obvious. This one isn't. This one, because it's different, there's a lot more to think about. But everything seems okay. Everything seems okay. Ooh, hello. Now, I was expecting it to be more snappy in pitch. Just checking, there's nothing. Yeah. So that's another thing to remember. This doesn't seem quite as snappy in pitch as, say, the Spit. Mind you, I'm going very fast. That felt okay. Just watching the speed. Yeah, it's very different. I like that. It's nice to have something different to fly. Let's now see. Let's get some altitude, and let's see what she's like at slow speed. So we'll wind the power up a bit. Just have a quick look around, see everything is looking okay. Everything looks good. Let's have a quick look at the tablet actually while we're climbing. Settings, that's good. Workshop. Oh, we're in the air, so that's not going to show anything. Live data. See, it's still showing overprimed. So I think something, yeah. I don't know if the weather's thrown it or something like that, but interesting. Battery's charged up now because the generator's working nicely, so that's all good. Happy with that. It's got a nice throaty sound to it, hasn't it? See, the radiators there are set on auto and absolutely wide open because of how hot we got on the ground there, probably. Plus it being a hot day. Right. So let's pull back on the power. What happens? Not a lot, we're not slowing down. Okay, let's pull it back even more. Don't really want to foul the plugs, which is the thing I'm a little bit scared of, but... So there's our slats coming out, if you heard that thump. That's to help give us some extra lift. The wings on this are very small, which helped with speed, but it meant that lift was not quite so good, so things like the slats just help to give us a bit more lift. Starting to wobble a little bit. There we go. Oh, it wanted to go then. There it goes, and we're in. So, left wing drop, easy to recover from that, nothing too frightening. Let's have the power back on. Engine seems to be running just fine. Okay. So I'm just going to keep it 1.1 ATA. And let's just enjoy having a look around a bit. Let's have a little bit of fun, see how she loops, see how she rolls. I have no idea what the sound is like in something like DCS through 109. I've not tried it, but it certainly doesn't, oh, a bit of glitching then, it certainly doesn't sound as aggressive as I imagined it would do, but it's got a nice throaty roar to it. A little bit of a whistle. Give it some beans. Speed is good. Interesting. So I don't think that was the wind. We'll have another look at that. Now normally MSFS warbirds are quite easy to loop. Certainly something like the A2A P51 in P3D will really throw you off course if you don't loop it correctly, and that wasn't quite running on rails like you'd normally see in this flight sim, which is quite interesting. So let's have another look at that. Just checking the wind, we've got a tailwind of 12 knots, so it's not like we've got a crosswind. Speed is good. Let's pull it back. Yeah, it's definitely moving, it's definitely twisting. You could hear the slats coming out there. Let's have another look at that, chuck it around a bit. So very... oh, I've got full stick back and it's hardly doing anything. Full stick back, falling over the top, and we almost went into a spin then. Say almost. Let's get control back. Okay, come on, gotcha. Interesting behaviour. So, doesn't feel like a huge amount of elevator authority. So, let me just think that through. Have I done anything? Could that be anything? We've got flaps up, so it's not that. We have got the radiator flaps are open, which I know does cause some drag. Our speed was good, so it wasn't that. Let's have another quick look. It's always good fun to kind of feel these things out. So, maybe we're going too fast. Sometimes if you're going too fast it causes an issue. In fact, you know what, let's have a quick look. Let's do what we should have done in the first place. Let's have a look at the manual. Where is it? Half, blah blah, loop. A loop should be commenced at a minimum of 480. So there we go, 480, pull it back, stick is full back, and it really just doesn't want to go. I'll put into right rudder, and there you go, look at that. Yeah, interesting. Obviously something that I need to work on there, because that's behaviour I'm not used to. Just out of interest, we'll give it another one. And let's start pulling back now. Stick all the way pretty much back. It is hardly got any authority. And as we come over the top, yeah, you see it's very, very sticky. Let's try some nose down trim. Maybe we're just out of trim and it doesn't like it. So let's neutralise the trim. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, it's strange. So it's coming over the top and then it's kind of flicking over. I seem to have a lot of stick authority that way, but oh no, you see now it's come back. So the higher the speed, the harder it is to push the stick, which kind of makes sense. Yeah, I can't think of anything that would be causing that. So it's obviously the behaviour of the aeroplane. But yeah, any of you guys that are experts on the 109 and can tell me why I have so little elevator authority, let me know. Because now, oh you see now it's there's hardly anything. I'm moving the stick backwards and forwards and you can see the stick in the aeroplane is hardly moving at all. Now that could be the speed we're going at. Again, it could just be simulating the fact that we're going so fast that I'm having to pull against the airflow. So let's slow it up a bit. So watch the speed come off, yeah, and as the speed comes off, I get much more control over the see the elevator now, much more control. So that's just simulating the fact that the faster we're going, the less effective the elevator is. So at the speed that it says that you're meant to do a loop, which is 480, you have very little elevator control, which is making that a little bit harder. So loop 480 minimum kph, and that's what I was doing. So yeah, any of you experts out there, I'd be really interested to see what you think. So while we're doing this, opportune time to say we have a Discord. come over and say hello. We do group flights, post screenshots, talk about aeroplanes, talk about new releases, all that sort of thing. There's definitely been a lot of chat today about the 109 being released, and it's always interesting comparing notes. We have also got a helicopter session, section. If you're into helicopters as I am, and if you know the channel, you know that there's quite a few helicopter videos on here now. So come over and say hello. So let's get thinking about landing, because that's what we're going to do now. Okie doke. So da 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 da, blah blah blah. I don't think we need to clear the plug fouling. I think it sounds pretty good. It doesn't seem to be running rough to me. Right. I'm trying to do things a bit early, so approach list, fuel valves both on, radiator control. Let's put it open. Gear, we're going to lower it below 3000, flaps 40 degree below 250, stabilizer is going to be at about, trim is going to be about -3, glide airspeed 200 to 220, and threshold speed 180. So let's have a look at the tachometer and just get a feel for that. So start coming off on the power a little bit. There is wonderful Duxford. So we're not far off the gear speed, but I don't want to drop it just yet. It's funny wrapping your head around kilometers per hour when you're so used to flying in knots and having just a feel, or even miles per hour and having a feel for that. Okay, so let's pull back on the power a little bit more, drop the gear, looking for the 2 greens down at the bottom. We've got the 2 greens, keep an eye on the speed. Bring it round. Going to do a curved approach, but I'm being a little bit cautious. So let's come round. Flap to 20, and really at this speed we could do with 40 as well. So let's go full beans on that. Let's watch what we're doing. Fast, so let's come off on the power a little bit. Absolutely no side of the runway, which is not very clever. So again, curved approach. Let's go. Oh, there's the runway over there, you see. Now we are drifting heavily to the left. Jeez. Okay, stick back, fighting it, let's have some breakage. Oh my lord, we survived. So interesting, yeah, interesting landing, needs some ventilation. So yeah, lesson learned there, much like the Spit. Need much more of a curved approach so you can keep visible with the runway. Let's raise the flap, and just watch the speed and watch when it touches down, because it will wobble a bit like that. But that was really interesting. Anyway, FlyingIron have, I don't know how realistic this is because I've got no experience with 109s, but what I will say is that from the point of view of a new aeroplane that requires new ways of flying and handling, they've absolutely nailed it. This is absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to master it. That's the challenge. now is being able to fly this thing like a pro and ironing out all the funny little things like the loop and getting the landing and the takeoff right. But yeah, very interesting. Interesting here trying to taxi. Oh, I know why. See if that helps. Come on. Turn, 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 turn. There we go. Need to get some more practice in taxiing. Felt quite easy taxiing out, but now coming back in, it's not quite the same. Brilliant. Right. So we've done that. Flaps we've retracted. Radio circuit breakers A27, A28. Pull. Radiator control closed. There, I'm going to give that a quick wallop just to clean the plugs. Now we pull the engine stop. There we go. Mags off. Fuel valves both off. I've already done that somehow. And yeah, that's all good. Okay, all this, that's interesting. When I pulled that, it's like it's reset everything, because that shouldn't have been off, but it is, and all the circuit breakers have popped out. So somehow either closing the mags or pulling the engine stop has then reset everything else. Yeah, well, could be a little convenience feature that's in there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.